And I'm Allyn.
And we're Sal and Al,
the Woolslayers.
Welcome to episode 1. Yay!
Oh my god, I'm so excited. So, we're two friends that knit together and live on opposite sides of Dallas-Fort Worth. So we don't get to see each other very often, but we actually do communicate a lot.
Yes.
Sallie, how did you start knitting?
YouTube. And I was watching Outlander and became completely inspired. And I was like, I need to learn how to do that.
I love it.
And
I started knitting because my mother was a knitter my whole life. And I was not interested my whole life. I did everything else. I did cross stitch.
No thanks.
I did needlepoint. Yeah, no thanks. Didn't want to do it. I mostly wasn't interested in the projects she made. But then I found Knitty and some really cool projects on Knitty about 11 years ago, and asked my mom to teach me, and she taught me. And she taught me the basics because we didn't live in the same town at the same time. Or we didn't live in the same town at the time, and the rest I learned from books and from the internet.
Yeah, and then we took a class together last year.
Yes.
That's when we really bonded.
Yes.
We bonded. We already knew each other, and we'd been in the same knitting group together. But we took, at DFW Fiberfest last year, so 2016, we took Susan B. Anderson's Fair Isle class.
Love her.
And totally fangirled our faces off over Susan B. And I feel like ever since then we've had a special bond about I don't know, because we just went like geeky over. Right. And now I'm a Fair Isle freak. Like, it's my favorite.
Yep.
And
And then Sallie introduced me to other people to fangirl over, like Diane's, the Suburban Stitcher.
We love Diane at Suburban Stitcher.
Yes.
We're always talking about podcasts. Have you watched this one? Have you watched this one? No, I don't like that one. Oh, I love that one. And it's taken about a year, and she finally convinced me to sit here and do this. This is completely out of my box.
Which is very surprising because we have so much fun in knitting group and laugh so much. And when I was looking for a knitting group, because I looked for a knitting group for probably 8 years, and then...
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I even accosted people at the 2015 DFW Fiberfest.
Not surprised you didn't get a knitting group that way. Psycho.
I know. But I did. I was like, you seem cute and fun.
Do you want to knit with me?
Do you ever get together to knit? I did. It was that. It was. And then I randomly...
You ran into Logan.
I did.
Our friend from...
Yep.
My knitting group that is now Logan. Allyn's knitting group. Logan is a mutual friend.
Yeah, but I didn't know Logan until I met her.
This is why you always knit in public, people.
Yes, knit in public.
Knit in public.
We were at a PTA conference, and I had sat down at one of the tables in a breakout session, and she sat down next to me, and then I pulled out my knitting, and she said... And that's why I knew you were the right person to sit next to. She didn't know I was going to knit when she sat down, but she pulled out her knitting and she told me about the group, and I joined.
Logan's awesome.
Yeah.
Logan and I have a good time. We have kids the same age, so.
Yes.
And that's so what's great glad about the whole group. Found you.
I know, me too. And it's been love ever since.
So we will probably talk more about our knitting group in next episodes, because we're both very involved and we have monthly knit-alongs, and we're actually wearing our Seashore Cowls. And this
from our last knit-along.
Mm-hmm. This was our knitting group. What month? We do monthly.
It was March.
It was March. So this was our March project. Mm-hmm. And Allyn made hers super long.
I did. I made mine crazy long. I wanted to make it like a poncho.
And it's awesome.
Thank you.
Tell us what yarn it is.
So... The wave sections or the color sections are what they call the wave in the pattern, and it is Madtosh Unicorn Tails that I bought at the store.
That's not, is that a single?
No, it's Twist Merino Light.
Oh, okay.
And then the black is Kid Silk Haze, and I did add a repeat. Because
so you could get all your tails
Yes, so I could use every color because the pattern calls for 5 of the lace repeats. Yeah. And I had 6 colors in the unicorn tail pack. So, and it was perfect because I did the extra large size because I wanted it to be more like a poncho than a cowl, and it was exactly perfect on the bottom waves. I had to use a little bit more yarn from a second set that I had, but very little. Yeah. And then as I got up to, I only had to do that on the first two. Mm-hmm. The third one, it was exactly one of the mini skeins, and then the top three, I had a little bit left over.
So mine, the pink sections are a Party of 5 ombre pack from Sweet Georgia, Tough Love Sock. And my brown is Madtosh as well, the Twist Light in the Woodstock color. And mine, the bottom repeat, like you said, it used up so much yarn because of the cast on and everything. So I had to poach yarn. Since mine's an ombre, I had to be really careful. And so I had to poach from this color to finish this color, and then I had to poach from this color to finish this color, and then I was able to finish the last 3 without poaching anything, and I actually had leftovers. So, because you decrease.
And you decrease just a very little amount.
Tiny bit, yeah. Right. I almost wish that the top decreased more.
I know.
It's a bit...
And I added, so since I added another section of the black, so this is 20 rows, oh, right. And then it goes from 20 to 10. Well, I added a 15 in there.
Yeah, I think I like that because I felt like 20 to 10 was a bit drastic.
It is drastic,
it's really sudden.
You can see it.
Excited to get done with it, so I didn't add any rows.
And then I added extra decrease rounds. Here, and up here because I knew I wanted it to come in a little more.
Otherwise, it would fall off of you.
And I was seeing everybody's being so big. Yeah. And then I also, because I knew I wanted to wear it like a poncho, I did the yarnless cast off, which is where...
So it's tighter?
Mm-hmm. You just move it over. You don't knit it.
You just lock them onto each other.
Yeah.
And, I like it.
And
it's
really
good.
Not stretchy at all.
Yeah. You do not need a stretchy bind off on this thing. I didn't do a stretchy.
It calls for a stretchy bind off. And I was like,
but for why?
I think it's to make the lace give it room to open up.
Oh, maybe.
But it opens up without it being stretchy. Because the top of each wave is straight. Yeah. It only waves down at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I think that's all the modifications, though it is still kind of big at the top. I might actually try to run a thread through and cinch it a little more. Yeah. And as you can see, I have no sleeves on today because it's 80 degrees in Texas.
Yeah. We're really just wearing these for the show.
Right.
But it's amazing. We made the same project. Mm-hmm. We even both used Madtosh. They could not look more different. Yeah. They fit different. You added repeats. Yours is basically a dress. And mine's all pinky, ombre, gradient. Gradient's the better word, I think.
Gradient.
And they could not look more different, but I love them both.
And that's what I love about doing the knit-alongs with the group, which was, I'd never done knit-alongs until we did it with the group.
Welcome to the dark side.
I know. And it's fun to see, the excitement of what everybody's choosing for their yarns, and then how people modify it.
How different they look.
Yeah, because we had one person that only did 4 waves because she was going to run out of yarn. So hers looked completely different.
And hers is smaller, too. It's only it's a cowl. It's legitimately a cowl.
Right.
This is called a cowl, but let's face it, both of ours are more like a sweater.
Right. This I wear as a sweater.
Yeah. I mean, you could put a belt on yours. You don't even need anything underneath. Just
armholes. I might need armholes. And the pattern is the Seashore Cowl.
Yes.
We'll have links in the show notes.
Yeah, I didn't write down the designer. Sorry. And I've slept since then, and I don't remember. Right. But we will put everything in. We have a Ravelry group. Sal and Al, the Woolslayers, because we slay our wool. We slay in all aspects of life.
Right.
And so we will put the show notes and links in there. There's literally 0 posts, so you should be able to find the first one really easily.
Join us and introduce yourself, please. We're excited about this.
We are. Stupid excited. Right. Basically nerds. Big time nerds. I am. I mean, I speak for myself.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
next.
So, our first segment is going to be our FOs, but since we're Woolslayers, they're slayed objects. So our first segment is going to be our finished objects, but since we're the Woolslayers, they're slayed.
And slayed.
Because we slay in all aspects of life. So my recent slayed objects are socks for my husband.
Beautiful.
And I'm digging the pooling.
Yeah. They almost look like they match.
I don't know. If he wears them like...
Right. That side matches more. Yeah. It's beautiful.
These are Madtosh that we bought. Okay, actually, the pink Sweet Georgia and this Madtosh, we went to Chicago last year during our summer vacation, and he took me to Nina because he loves me. Nina is an amazing local yarn shop in Chicago, and I got the pink ombre pack, gradient pack, and this Madtosh at Nina in Chicago. So these are souvenir socks for my husband, and there's enough for me to have. That's why they're short, because I wanted us to both get a pair. And they're Madtosh in the Seawash colorway, and it's the Twist Light. And I think
and is that the Rose City Rollers?
No,
not rolling though.
I didn't really use a pattern. Mm-hmm. If I had to choose a pattern, I think I used the gusset pattern from the late night socks, but I just did a cuff. I didn't do a leg. And then I don't remember which toe. And I mean, it's basically no pattern. Mm-hmm. And his big old feet,
they don't
even fit on my sock blocker. Like the heel is so far back, but he has a size 12 foot. So
that's big.
True love right there.
It's true love. I know, but true love that he took you.
Yeah. I mean, he deserved it because he took me to Nina, and he didn't. He just stood there very patiently while I was like, "Look at this yarn and look at this yarn," and he said, He was like, I love it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Let's get it and leave."
I was like, "You're the best." So that's my first slayed object, and my second one is another knit along with our
I love this,
with our knitting group, and you have one on the needles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then a bunch of people.
I do, and we'll talk about it when we get to that. I think I'm
only the second person to finish, but it's a long term. We have short term and long term knit alongs with our knitting group, and this is a long term one. It's not due, which we're really lenient, but it's not like the end date is Halloween. Because it's for...
And we start in February.
Yeah. The Stranger Things. Can you see it?
There you go.
Anybody seen the show? Stranger Things. This is the alphabet. I won't spoil anything, but... And it's upside down. This alphabet is a big part of the show. I love the gray side. The gray side's my favorite.
I think it pops.
And this, okay, so another thing our knitting group does, I said we were going to talk about it later, but we keep talking about it, is whenever you finish, you get a stitch marker. And for this one, it was the Christmas lights, because in the show, I'll show the other side. In the show, this alphabet also has Christmas lights incorporated in it. So this right here is your wire with your Christmas lights, and then I need to go.
Did you add color?
I haven't, but what you can do, she says in the she suggests in the pattern you can spell something out, like you can put. So I could put
like the show does.
Yes, like again, not spoiling anything, but they use this alphabet in the show, so I could put a little dot of color over the S there, and the A and the L to spell out Sal or whatever. So she says in the pattern to do it like before you sew it up, but that's really not necessary. I'm just gonna put a temporary. I can change it. Mm-hmm. I can change.
That's a good idea, because it's not like it's a sweater that's going to be pulled on.
No, and you this was knit. You knit it just straight from the bottom, and then you do a garter ridge, and you keep knitting, and you knit the other side of the alphabet. So it knits as a tube, and then you fold it
and
graft it together because you start with a provisional cast on. So all inside here is my ends. Just inside the cowl, like where the two meet, that's inside. And so I'm just going to pull my end for my color inside the cowl. It doesn't need
like
to be
2 inches this way and 2 inches
yeah,
this
and
way,
just, you know, just pull it out so that it doesn't show. And, I mean, it can just be temporary. Like, you don't have to commit to anything.
Right.
So that's my second slay, and I think I slayed it for show.
You sure did.
Let's see.
And I'm going to show you mine since we're on it.
Okay.
Even though we're not to the works in progress section.
It doesn't show up that great, but it's
the other side
so comfortable.
It's so soft.
It's so soft.
And the yarn is
we use the
stroll,
same yarn. Yeah, we use Knit Pick Stroll,
which is what the pattern called for, right?
Yeah, and it's lovely. Like, we are
yes
self-described yarn snobs, but this Knit Pick Stroll, and we used black and ash,
which is what the pattern called for.
Is it?
Yes.
We're so
and
good.
it's really...
And I never do that.
I know.
Ever.
I never do
ever.
either.
I never use the pattern.
But I didn't have anything in stash.
Yeah. Knit Pick Stroll Solids.
And it's soft.
It's so soft.
And you've blocked yours already.
Yeah, mine's done except for, you know, if I want to spell something out. There, that's a really good...
That's a good shot of it. Because I haven't blocked mine yet. I'm still... I have...
You haven't blocked that?
Just keep going.
That's my dog.
He didn't bark at the mailman that came up.
Yeah, that was pretty
at,
impressive.
Like,
I was like, there's a dude in my front yard. Okay.
Okay, so I have... You do a provisional cast on, so that's what this is down here. I'm going to try not to lose stitches.
So let's just go ahead and we're going to move into our Wip Crackin. Because I'm done with FOs and you don't have it. Oh. Okay, so you have yours going.
So I have 1 row of alphabet done.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm using it on metal needles because I haven't done as much Fair Isle as Sallie has since we took the class. And the yarn is really soft and slippery, and I feel like my gauge, it's not slippery. It's not slippery. It's just soft. And
it's very soft.
I was using my Fair Isle methods of tensioning to keep it from being too tight, and I think it's gotten too loose. So I might frog it.
No.
We'll see. I'm going to let Sallie examine it later.
I think it looks good.
Because it looks okay right now,
we'll
but I'm afraid when I block it, it will stretch out and show all the floats behind.
Mine didn't stretch. It just...
That's good to know.
It just... You know,
it just went smooth.
It smoothed. It did not stretch and I didn't stretch it.
Right.
But I just laid it out, and it was mainly just to kind of, you know, straighten up the wonkiness that happens with Fair Isle and any knitting, really. Any of my knitting, it's all wonky. I'm like, it'll block out.
And I should say, this is a bag that I made. I don't sell bags. I just sew them up. And
I love that fabric, though.
Thank you. I have a fabric stash that is older than my yarn stash, and I'm finally using it.
Good for you. It's cute. Okay, so what other whips do you have?
Okay, so the other whips I have, I started the Marcelle shawl, which, I'm sorry, I should have had it on the right page so I can show you the picture. This is the Marcelle shawl.
Oh, man.
Or Marcelle shawl. Yeah, which way to go? There.
That's gorgeous.
It's a free pattern, Marcelle, Marcelle, and it is pretty easy. It's stockinette. It starts very much like the Spindrift shawl with different kinds of increases, but I haven't gotten very far.
That's really pretty color though.
But
that's prettier in real life than it is on the screen.
It is. It's so much brighter yellow.
Oh, it's pretty.
And it's
I can't wear yellow.
We'll see if I can.
I look like I have jaundice. Oh, it's so pretty.
It is. I love it.
Oh,
I bought it at 2 years ago at Fiberfest in 2015.
That's not for that.
No, that's for this. This is, the yellow is Miss Babs Yummy.
Oh.
Miss Babs Yummy 2-ply Superwash.
Can we just make a plea really fast for Miss Babs to come back to DFW Fiberfest?
Please.
You're killing us.
We miss you.
We miss you.
And then I'm pairing it with this. It's I think I bought this color from Madtosh.
I have that color right here.
Yes, you turned me onto it.
I have 2 skeins of it.
Madtosh Deep, and I think I bought it in 3 different kinds of bases.
Okay, is this when they went out of... Okay, so we used to have brick and mortar Madtosh as our local yarn store.
It was pretty awesome.
Y'all. Legit tears when it closed.
Yes.
Legit tears.
So sad.
Mm-hmm.
So now we wait for Fiberfest.
Yeah.
And they didn't have my favorite color, Blue Nile. They didn't have it at Fiberfest. I wanted some of that. So
yeah, they're really bad about that. You know, they kick out the old colors and bring in the new ones. But
Blue
that
Nile.
is gorgeous.
Gorgeous yarn. I cannot wait. I've had it paired.
Yellow. I never
since the sale. I took the Miss Babs Yummy.
Yeah, we both hit that.
To the sale.
Okay, so when the Madtosh closed, they had what? Was it go up to 70% or
60 is as high?
It started at 50, and then there was a 60% off sale, and
I mean, insane,
y'all.
Oh my gosh, it was so incredible.
We bought a lot of yarn.
Yeah, and we love it. We love it.
Like through tears, I was like, I guess I'll just buy all this yarn. I'm so upset. Why are you closing? Why? Give me that and that and that and that and that. I don't even like that color. Give me that.
I know. And I feel like I should have bought more.
Oh,
I wish I had bought more. But at the time, I was like, this is insane.
The only regret I have is that I didn't buy more. And at the time, though, I was completely embarrassed by my humongous bag of yarn. But Madtosh at 70% off. You're
and I went twice.
I did too. Yeah. I went at 50% off and 60. I went on the very, very last day and was buying the scraps that no one wanted.
I took my mom the second time because it was right around Christmas. I mean, it was perfect timing.
Yeah, it was. Because we thought it was a Christmas sale, and then they were like, "Oh, by the way, we're closing."
Yeah. Because they didn't say we're closing sale right away. Yeah, where is that?
It was very sad. But
do you have any more
I'll tell you about the store that's filled the Madtosh shaped hole in our hearts in a little bit when we get to our Fiberfest talk.
Yes.
That is okay. No, I have whips. I haven't done whips yet.
Because I have more whips. I don't want to do it.
You didn't have any FOs because they're all whips.
They're all whips.
Well, you had one.
Yes. My Seashore Cowl.
Okay, so I knit socks. Allyn has knit one.
I knit one because it was a knit along, and I'm like, if I'm gonna try it, let me just try it with the knit along. And I did shortie roasted rollers.
Did you make 2?
I made 2.
That's good.
I finished the pair.
At least you finished a pair. That's
I don't need to do it again.
Okay.
I'm not obsessed. I love sock yarn, so I'm trying to figure out what to do with sock yarn.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I knit socks. I kind of got off of them over last fall. I just was not. I could not bring myself to knit a sock because I am the shawl queen. Y'all will find out. All shawls.
The around your neck cowl
all the time.
Oh
I won. Suburban Stitcher does the around your neck cowl on her podcast, and I won it last year. Grand prize winner.
And you win, if you're not familiar, by the amount of yardage that you do.
That's the only time I can win. Okay, if it's like a random drawing, I'll never win. But if it's on my own merit and my own ability to knit 10,000 miles over the summer, I will win. I will win. And I did. And I did.
Yep.
So, anyway. But I don't have any shawls on the needle right now, but that will change by the next podcast because this is the longest I've gone without knitting a shawl. The last shawl I did was the snow melt. And so that was like mystery. February, March-ish. I'm having withdrawals. It hurts me that I don't have a shawl on the needles right now. But I'm trying to get some other stuff done. So I do have a hoe.
That is so cute. I love that yarn.
This is Mustache.
Mustache, of course.
The infamous Mustache. Stacy sent me and she sent me a note when she mailed this to me. I got the very first skein she dyed of this yarn.
It's so cute.
And this is Pippi Longstocking. Children of the 80s. Do you hear me? Pippi Longstocking. And I did the vanilla bean sock pattern. There we go. And it's free. I mean, it's super easy. You just, I cannot figure this out. You just slip knit whenever the color changes. Super easy. And then I used Kirby Werby's tutorial to cut my knitting for the Afterthought heel. And I used Susan B. Anderson's
Afterthought heel.
Is Susan B. Anderson's SOS.
Oh, Smooth Operator?
Smooth Operator, thank you. Smooth Operator heel. And the toe is the one suggested in the pattern, the Vanilla Bean pattern by Emily O'Grady. So, and I hate ribbing, so my cuffs are always so short because it's like I can't stand it anymore. And these are the OCD socks from Mustache, so my second one will match perfectly. You can tell it already is.
Because she gives you two perfectly matched skeins.
Perfectly matched half skeins. See, it's already matching.
It's beautiful.
So, thank you.
It is so cute.
It is. I really do like this slip knit because it just kind of adds a little something. Mm-hmm. And when you're knitting it, you're just so excited to get to that next stripe because once the minute the stitch that the color changes on is when you start. It doesn't matter if it's halfway through a row or whatever because you just go the whole way around. Uh-huh. And so you're just constantly waiting like, oh, do I get to do it? Do I get to do it? Yeah. So anyway, it's super, super easy, and I really am enjoying it.
So it's not movie knitting because you need to be able to see the color change.
It's not good movie knitting, no, because you do need to see the color change, and you need to know, like if your color does change halfway through, you need to know, is that a slip or a knit?
Right. Because
you want your points to line up, which I don't think you would notice if they didn't, but technically you want them to line up. So these are a little bit tight. I think I've finally figured out my sock requirements, and I think I need a 0.5 millimeter bigger.
Oh, for needle.
Mm-hmm. And so I'll show you on my next whip.
And what do you have it stored in?
Oh, of course it is in Suburban Stitcher. She's my favorite bag maker. She's our favorite video podcaster and our favorite bag maker.
So
Suburban Stitcher. And this is just her T1 from last year. And then it's got, look, she picks the best.
Oh, her contrast on the inside. Adorable.
Best. They have all these creative making words. And, I don't know, just her hardware. I don't know. She's just the best. I love her. And, so that's one Wip Crackin.
Okay, my next one. Again, we said that we're yarn snobs. We are total yarn snobs. And I'm about to pull out some Lion's brand Woolspun.
You brought that to my house?
I know.
No, I'm just kidding.
Don't have an allergic reaction.
I'm just kidding. We also advocate using the correct yarn for the project. And so if it's for a baby or for a kid or for, use the cheap stuff. It's fine.
Yeah.
We just prefer
for ourselves against our skin.
The good stuff.
Right. Yeah, So last year I wanted a floor poof. Those crochet looking floor poofs. Well, I am not about to go buy one for $100 when I can make one for $30 worth of yarn. Even Lion brand,
So this is crochet.
So this is crochet.
Okay.
So I made one of these. It is Hacklet Puff, or really just crochet poof, P-O-U-F. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's in
cool.
another.
So is it like a footstool?
Yes.
Up a little. There you go.
There we go. It's like a little footstool.
They literally sell those for like $100.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's insane. I needed two, so I'm like, I'm not spending $200. No. Not when I have fun wool I can buy. So, but because feet were going to go on it, I wasn't going to use the good stuff. Plus, I didn't want to spend $100 in yarn and make
You're trying to, for once, make something cheaper than you can buy it.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't have used this is definitely a Lion brand.
Oh, yeah. It's Michael's. Go to Michael's. Hopefully find it on sale. If not, use
you can get that at
40%
Walmart,
off. Can you?
I think so.
So I went and bought some.
It's
I made
a really
one,
pretty red.
And I like it.
Yeah?
But my children...
Go ahead.
My children, who are 7 and 9 now, they like to play with it.
They're so
cute. Thank you. It becomes a weapon. Mm-hmm. They pick it up and swing it at each other. Or it becomes a surfboard. It is everything except a pretty poof.
My kids would jump on that. Like,
yeah. So, not gonna make another one.
Okay. What'd you stuff it with? That was what I was gonna say.
So what I stuffed it with was I had an old sheet that was red. So I used that to kind of line it, but I cut it in half and because I was gonna make two.
Yeah.
So
so you have a half of a red sheet in case anyone needs it. Let her know.
Exactly. I will send it to you. So then at first I stuffed it with old clothes that I was going to give to Goodwill because I had seen that. Well, it was not my idea. I saw it on the internet.
Okay.
But it didn't really stay. It wanted to topple over.
It looked like a pile of old clothes.
It did.
Okay.
So so then Hancock Fabrics was going going out of business. And
really?
Oh yeah, where they closed either all of them in Houston or I don't know.
Okay.
I was in Houston at the time where my parents
Gotcha.
live. So I bought a giant box of poly fiber fill, thinking, oh, this will fill one. Oh, it'll fill like 10 of them because that stuff expands. You know.
See, I would have thought you would have needed a ton.
I almost did. So, but it was discounted. It's normally like $25. It was down to 10. So for $10, I got this giant box, and I just stuffed and stuffed and stuffed.
Wow. And is it pretty dense?
It's not dense enough because they have now played with it enough that it's kind of smashed into an oblong instead of being this nice round.
Yeah, I have a kid like that.
Yeah. Love them. So I had already bought the yarn for the second one because the first one was going so well. Surely I would want to do the second one.
And so do you have more red?
So I had 8 or 9 balls of this red. And it's a good thing I like red.
It's a very pretty red.
So I did not want to make another poof. And what do I do with this? Yeah. And so I am making a bath mat.
No way.
I'm making a bath mat. Snow Bobbles crocheted bath mat pattern. And cool. I actually really like it. I like this yarn. It's soft. I mean,
disclaimer, I try not to crochet. It's not my favorite. I'm not good at it. It makes me sweat. I love knitting. Crochet is not for me. But because of that, I'm like super mesmerized by your crocheting.
I don't crochet a lot either. I was taught how to crochet as a kid by my grandmother, and then didn't do it for 20 years. And so when I read the instructions, it does come back to me.
Okay.
But
I can do a chain.
Well,
for my provisional cast on.
And I think the chain is the hardest part.
Wow, it's really dense.
It is.
It's totally bath mat.
It'll be really nice to step out of the shower onto that.
Wow.
And I'm going to make it as big as I can and use up all this yarn. And this is about 1 1/3 balls. So I have 5 inches out of 1 1/3 balls.
Is it going pretty fast?
I think it is. That's one thing I love about crochet. As I'm sitting there,
it
just pulls and pulls and pulls.
And tell everybody about your obsession. Her favorite thing in the world is the feeling.
I love it.
So yarn pulling out of a ball.
My favorite, the way that I know I have made progress is, you know how when your tension on your yarn starts getting a little tight from the ball and you get to go whoosh and pull it out. Oh, I love that. I'm like, I'm making progress. It's moving along.
You told me that in our Fair Isle class, our Susan B class, and I was like, you're so cute. Like, what? Your favorite thing is that feeling?
That pull, because it's just such progress.
But now, ever since you've said that to me, that's been over a year now, and whenever I go like that, I think of you.
Yep.
I'm like,
and
there's
it feels so good.
Hi, Allyn! So funny to me. I'm sure I have stuff that I find soothing and comforting that you would think, what?
Right. But I'm a product knitter, for sure, and I think Sallie is, too.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll talk about that later.
Half the time the process makes me want to jump off a building.
Right.
But
so for me, pulling that out means I'm that much closer to the
end. Yeah.
And I'm using a size I hook, and I don't have fancy hooks because I inherited the majority of mine from relatives, and I don't do it enough to spend money on.
That's how I am too. I have the pack of 85 wooden crochet hooks from Amazon that came on the slow boat from China.
Oh my gosh.
They were
wood. That
$4 for for like 80 hooks because I really just need them for literally just repairs and like provisional cast on. Like
I do love a crochet provisional cast on.
I've crocheted. I knit that fox cowl that everyone was making a year or so ago. I made it for someone, and it has a crochet edging around the face to hold it open. Oh my god! Like Erin, the crochet wizard of our group, she still talks about how I had to borrow a hook from her. This is before I got my slow boat from China hooks, and every stitch I was just like dripping sweat, and it's like. Is this right? I don't think it's right. This doesn't feel right. And she still just is like, yeah, Sallie doesn't crochet.
No.
She was like, wow, you're not lying. This does not come natural to you at all. But, I picked up knitting really quickly. And there's
some people who can't pick up knitting because it's 2 sticks. But they can do crochet with one.
I am not particularly smart, but apparently knitting and I
know. You find your thing.
Besties.
I know. So, but I want to tell you about the bag that I have that's in because I love it.
Oh.
And what I want to tell you about it is, that's my monogram.
It's almost wag. I wish it was
that
wag.
would be funny. I did not make really this bag. It's huge.
It's like a pillowcase.
Yes, and it's I think what a lot of people who do make bags call their sweater bags.
No,
blanket
that's
bag?
way too big to be a sweater bag. Yeah.
So this was the dust cover off of a handbag.
Oh
yeah. And I had it monogrammed.
Huh.
And it's now a giant
And it was
bag.
a Tory Burch bag?
It wasn't Well, I wasn't going to say that. But yes, it was
Tory,
a Tory Burch
if you
bag.
want to send us some stuff. No.
It was, but I mean, the bag was
and
so pretty.
But you added this.
No.
This was already on there.
That was
and so
already
you
on
just
there.
had it monogrammed to match because the thread matches perfect.
Yeah.
Tory Burch sends bags like that.
It's the dust cover,
I
and
like
I
the
don't
dust cover
ever
just
use
as
it.
much.
I know.
No, I would never use the dust cover.
I don't use the dust cover to store it. I change purses a lot, so
ain't nobody got time for that.
But I mean, look, and it draws things
wow.
up, and I now
that would be
that
would be an amazing blanket.
Yes.
Scrap blanket.
Yes.
Bag.
And when it opens up, you can get into it really, like you can see it.
That's
all.
like a laundry hamper size. That's amazing. I want to see the bag it came in. It's like
it's just a clutch. I mean, like it's a regular.
And it came in that humongous dust cover.
Yeah.
Wow. Tory Burch goes big or goes home.
I know, but I love
That's
how
amazing.
it turned out, and it's like
that is an amazing idea.
Use whatever bag you come across.
Are we still on whips?
We are still on
Okay,
whips.
because I still have one. I still have one to talk about.
Oh, these are so pretty.
This is my obsession. I literally have not cast on the second one because I wouldn't work on anything else.
Oh.
And so I have to finish
my gosh.
I have to finish part of my other whip that I'm going to show before I can work on the second one because I'm obsessed.
That is so incredible.
Shut up. Right?
Yes. It's amazing how
in
that works.
what world is this possible? Like it blows.
And the sock blockers don't even show how cool it is when it's on a foot.
Really, I should show it. I think it's most impressive this way. So here's my toe.
That's the top of the foot.
This is the top of the foot. Bam.
That is so cool.
Shut your mouth. And I have a little, this is just to help. Even though they're probably going to match, I put a little marker there for when to start my heel. So that when I'm making the second one, I can match them.
Nice.
But what?
I know.
What?
That is so
okay,
cool.
This is
called... And what yarn is that?
I'll tell you in a second because the yarn is a big part of why I love this. But the pattern is Mystic Spiral, and it's Mystic with a K, Mystei, Mystic Spiral, and it's by Josh Reichs. So a dude designed this.
That's pretty awesome.
And it matches on the back. Look at that, spiraling on the back. The yarn is Nomadic Yarns, and the colorway is inspired by my other favorite video podcast, The Grocery Girls. And it's because they have a segment called Sock Talk, TAWK Talk, Sock Talk, and so that's what this colorway is called, a Sock Talk, Nomadic Yarns Sock Talk. And I haven't actually blocked it. It was just on the blocker, but it kind of pulls in a little bit right here.
Oh,
Like when I'm holding it up, I can see the wavy edge. But that when you put it on your foot, you can't. It's only because of the short rows. You can't feel it at all. If anything, it really feels awesome on the bottom of your foot. How it kind of pulls.
Oh,
it kind of feels like these are the best fitting socks I've ever made. They fit so good.
Wow. It's almost like when you buy commercial socks like for running and they have the gusset under your
and
arch.
This is almost like it's not straight across your foot obviously, but it feels so good. And going back to my Pippi socks that are a bit tight, I have figured out because of these socks that my ideal sock fitting is using a 2.5 millimeter needle, and those were on a 2. My Pippies were on a 2, and this just gives me just enough, that little smidge more stretch. So this, from now on, don't care what the pattern says, I'm going to use probably 64 to 68 stitches on a 2.5 millimeter needle, and just go. I'll just tailor it to me, because the way that feels is what hand knit sock dreams are made of. So I have not
dreams I don't have.
Yeah, you're missing out, friend. But that's okay.
Don't think I am.
That's okay. No, it's fine. We've talked about this before. She and I really don't wear shoes that require socks a lot.
We're in Texas. If
you wear your boots in the winter, then maybe.
Socks don't show.
But that's the only time we wear socks. Right. And we both wear tennis shoes designed to not wear socks.
Right.
Or if we do, it's our gym shoes, and we're not going to wear hand knit socks for that. Right. So I totally feel you. I totally understand your reasoning.
I need a product I'm going to use.
Yeah. But at night when I'm sitting there knitting and my feet are cold and I slip on a hand knit pair of socks, there's nothing like it. So I think that you should wear your Rose City rollers.
Well, when I have them in my slipper pile as socks to put on when my feet are cold. And wait, show that bag, because that's my favorite bag from last year.
Yeah, this is my favorite. Again, Suburban Stitcher. This is, I basically elbowed people in the face so funny. Last year to get this bag.
And there were only 3 of them.
I think she only had 2.
Yeah.
And I hand sold the other one to some lady in line. She's like, "Oh my God, did you get that bag?" Because the booth, Suburban Stitcher is with Mustache in her booth. And so Mustache is already swarmed, and then Suburban Stitcher is the best bag maker, so she's swarmed, and they're in the same booth. So the line was 20 people deep 5 minutes after the market.
And it's the first booth you see when you go in the
and it's the first booth. I don't care if it's in the back. It's the first booth I'm going to. And so I grabbed this bag. I was like, okay, now I can shop for yarn. So I grabbed the Dark Side of the Moon yarn that I really wanted from Mustache. Because that was last year when Yarn Harlot had made socks out of the Dark Side of the Moon Mustache colorway. It's gray and then rainbow with black.
That's right.
Yeah. And so everyone lost their minds over that. And so I grabbed this bag and grabbed some Dark Side, and then I was like, okay, take a deep breath. I didn't have a ton of time because we had class.
That's right. We only had 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be on time for class. You want to be early.
Right. And so I was standing in line with this, I grabbed another yarn. I think I grabbed a yarn that I ended up having to return because it was missing some of the color.
Oh, that's right.
And that's how I got the Pippi. Anyway.
Because she has great customer service.
This Stacy at Mustache is thebomb.com. And so I'm standing in line, I'm clutching my yarn in my bag, and I'm just sweating because we have class. And this lady behind me in line was like, "Where did you get that bag?" And I was like, "From here. I haven't even bought it yet." And I was like, "There's one more, go get it." And she was like, "Hold my place in line." And she ran and she grabbed it and she came back in line. So big fan. And the inside is.
I mean, it's just so coordinated.
Typeset or whatever. Oh.
It's just so
This is
cute.
me. This is me in bag form. This is my soul. Vintage typewriters and the color. This is my favorite color. Aqua. Anything between like mint to turquoise. That mint, teal, aqua, turquoise. Any of it. Love. I mean, as evidenced by my stash. It's like, oops. Just kidding. There's some more. Oh, look at that. Yeah. I mean, it's a thing. It's definitely a theme in my life. And so, yes. We love you, Diane.
Yes.
And we talk to her. We like to talk to her at Whateverfest.
We do. Okay. I have one more Whip.
I do too.
And it's the Shisui Shrug by Suzanne Summers.
This is some real knitting, y'all.
I love
this is legit.
This. So I heard about this on Skein Enable audio podcast. Michelle was talking about it. Was
Jill.
it Jill? I know Jill's knitting one right now, but I didn't know if she. I thought it was Michelle that said it.
I don't know who
totally
talks about
wrong.
Jill is definitely knitting one right now.
Yes, and so
oh my God, it's so pretty.
I'm trying to do this without giving anything away. This is what it looks like from the front, and then this is what it looks like from the back.
So cool.
And let's see. And I liked it so much, exactly the way it was, that I actually ordered the yarn in those colors.
We never do that. And this is the second project in this podcast.
Yes.
That's funny.
And so I started it. I cast it on in October because my mother gave me the yarn for my birthday. And so I cast it on in October, and I have this much done.
But that's okay because it's brioche.
It's brioche.
And we took we took a brioche class.
So maybe I didn't cast it on until November because I was waiting to take the brioche class. I practiced brioche.
Small, yeah.
And then was like, okay, I'm ready to tackle this big sweater. It's my first real brioche project.
Because
like crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot of brioche.
So I haven't worked on it much, not because I don't love it.
It's really pretty. I hadn't seen the yarn yet. Ugh. We talked about it 10,000 times, but I'd never seen it.
It's so beautiful. I love it. It's two colorways of hedgehog fiber skinny singles.
It's like a cloud.
It just feels so great. And it is a pattern that you have to concentrate on. It's getting better now that there's, every time there's more stitches on there, I can go a little longer in the regular garter, and I can go a little longer in the just brioche. But there's lots of increases, and I have to, I can't listen to anything. I can't watch anything. I cannot even have the chance that my kids will interrupt me mid-row.
Yeah.
Like,
so
I have
that
got
leaves
to focus.
0 minutes in the day to knit on it.
Exactly. I can maybe do like 30 minutes in the carpool line.
Oh,
but
that's good.
I only do carpool every third week. And 30 minutes really only gets you a couple rows.
Yeah.
Because you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
And
at least you can read the brioche now.
Yes. Now you can see the brioche.
Look at that. Oh, man.
I love it.
So good.
Thank you.
I love it.
It is so great. And
oh, man. It feels amazing.
It is so soft. I can't wait to wear it.
Yeah. Well,
so my goal is to wear it next winter. November.
When we finally get a winter here in Texas.
Yes.
So it's basically like a shawl that has little arms. So it makes
like a cardigan.
I think Jill described it as a cocoon, which I feel is accurate.
I think so too.
It's basically a shawl that has like a spot for your arms.
Right.
So
yes,
it's very cool.
And
that is a big project.
It's a big project, but I have a week coming up this summer where both my kids will be gone. One will be at sleepaway camp and one will be at grandparent camp. So I am going to give myself a knitting retreat that week. I'm literally going to knit this. I'm not going to clean my house. I'm not going to cook. I'm not going to organize. No. I am going to knit.
Well, your house will be clean because your crazy kids are gone.
Right.
And,
I know.
Just eat protein bars. You're fine.
Right. Exactly. Go out to dinner.
Protein bars. Go out to dinner.
Yeah. cereal.
Pee breaks.
Yeah, I know.
That's it.
I should be able to finish it in that
I
week,
want to
right?
see a finished shrug in
Right.
July.
Yes.
And when it's 112 degrees. We should say we are in Keller, Texas today at my house in Keller, Texas. Technically Fort Worth, but it's Keller. And it's about 80.
82 is the high.
But I cranked the AC so that we can sit hip to hip and
we won't
wear
sweat
wool.
in our cowls.
And drink.
Hey y'all, we had so much fun recording this episode that time kind of got away from us, and it's super long. So we split it into two, and we're hoping that episode 1.5 will be out in a week or so. Thanks for sticking with us.